and it's good to be with you today. And must thank the MBA faculties to have organized this program. I think it's very important that we have this kind of programs in the beginning because we set the tone for the next 2 years. It's very important to set the tone because direction is more important than the speed. So I think the apt time we're meeting and we are all fresh today. Before we connect, a good speaker or a good teacher will always have to know a feedback from who he's speaking to. Because very usually we just speak without even knowing. It's very important to understand that you come here because of them. You're not here because of yourself. This is where the education system between an India or a Salem compared to a US is different. Because you are going to enter a world where you will have everybody. You will not have only people from Salem. You will have people from Bangalore, you will have people from America, you will have people from God knows everywhere in the world. So you are going to enter a world in 2 years which is going to be a platform for you to perform. So till now your father and mother and sisters and brothers have guided you here, but from here it is your life. Please understand why I am talking about keep your mind fresh. I will get into that a little bit deeper, but it's very important that you think of yourself very importantly. When I say think of yourself importantly, I don't mean an ego problem. Because very often people get carried away saying, oh, I'm great, so I know what I've done. That's called ego. About 5-6 years ago, we signed up with a company called Festo. Festo is an automation company, and they are also involved in Sona in some way or the other. So they make robots. So when I was talking to the top leadership, they were mentioning that we identify most of the robots based on animals. So when I looked at it, I said, why animals? I said, no, because the way the bird lands is how the technology of landing will happen. From already existing, God knows for how many thousand years birds have been there. You use artificial intelligence wherever required. You use predictive analytics wherever required. But you use intelligence to get you that space. What is in the syllabus today, believe me, in the next 20 years, it will not be in the syllabus. So you are not going to stop your life after 20 years. You are going to learn here, and this learning is going to continue for the next 40, 50 years until the time you probably exist in this space of the earth. So it's very important that you look at it to learn how to learn. That is the basis. I think even our teachers should know. We need to teach the students how to learn. How to learn, how to learn. So that is the main objective of this. So I think I've already mentioned to you, most of you attended the Freshers' Day. Convey, convince, and convert is what we should really look at. Multitasking is one aspect that you need to have. At the same time, doing 2-3 things parallelly. And why I'm saying this is, this would help you to most of you are going to be in business or some kind of link to business. Please understand, never have one income stream. Always have multiple income stream. That is the basis of good investment and good time management. So keep multiple option stream. You could invest in bonds. You can invest in shares, depending on if you are good at it, or you can invest in mutual funds. Similarly, you can invest in real estate. You can invest in other things which you need to keep a plan for yourself. And this multitasking will help you in that plan. Only your salaries or only your business will not get you the kind of thing, because there will be dry days, there will be, wet days. So you need to make the best of what you're getting. And you will have families very soon. You're probably 23, 22, but within 5-7 years, you should have families. So you should start planning yourself for the next thing. So very often the question that you ask will give you the answers where you want. Are you a person creating value, or are you a person creating cost? If you're a person creating cost, your days are numbered. In any organization, you don't be a cost center, you be a value center. So when you become a value center, you become positive, you become wanted, you become required. So on the table, so that is the value proposition that you need to bring in. So 30 lakhs or 10 lakhs or whatever lakhs, above maybe 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, you will certainly get a job. I don't think you should have a problem of 3 to 4 lakhs in Sona. 99% of these high-ranking jobs must be within you. You have to give in your hard work. They can support you and they can maybe create a springboard for you, like a Japanese or something like that, to take you to 30 lakhs. So this is possible, but it needs, clapping of hands, where you need two to tango, dance. So tango is a type of dance. You need two people, that is mentors, as well as you. Mentors in this case, your teachers. So it's very important that you give it your best. Academics is very important, placements is very important, but research is equally important, as well as, your hobbies. Because I can tell you a couple of examples I'm going to be mentioning is about from my hobbies and how it has made a difference to the way I'm moving about in terms of decision making and things like that. So I think I wish you had playing games in the sense, I hope it's sports. It's sports, right? So sports makes a very, very big, important aspect in one's life. Please look at, this is basically, you have to play some sport or do something related to fitness on a daily basis, at least for 1 hour. So, because it's very, very important. And this is where I started a company in Bangalore called the Play Factory, because the Play Factory is a brand which basically looks at only positive energy getting you positive results. What I'm trying to say is, keep yourself fit, because the fitness is going to be the biggest market for you. And if any of you are looking at doing business in the fitness industry, Sona would be more than happy to support you, because the fitness industry is probably going to boom in the next, maybe it's already started doing many multiples now. The growth of fitness industry today is about 26 to 30% year on year. So it's almost doubling every 3 years. So you can imagine the kind of growth in the fitness industry if you can get into that. So this is where the positive energies and the health related areas are going to expand. And it gives you a huge opportunity, not only in jobs, but also in entrepreneurship. Without this background, I can be, there's no identity for me. Why identity here is Sona College of Technology, Vice Chairman. Then comes Thyagu Valliappa. The importance of you is the identity. So without the background, without your culture, you're nobody. Please keep your culture in hand. Because even when you go tomorrow to a Japan or an America, the culture is what will speak for you. I was in the UK about a month and a half ago. They are talking about India. I think the museums, London is full of museums. So 50% of the museums is about India. How Tipu Sultan, how Akbar, how they stole the Kohinoor diamonds and things like that. All that is our culture. So this is all from us. So when I came out of London, I said, they have stolen from us, stolen from our India. So it's very important that you have a connect with India. So why did we start the Naturopathy and Yoga? Because Yoga College, because that is basically made in India. So if we don't promote India, who's going to promote India? You understand what I'm trying to say? If you don't promote India, who is going to promote India? So what do you think? You're going to be in somewhere connected to India for the next 100 years. Hopefully you will live 100 years. But then you're going to be connected to the India. So if you don't grow this country, who's going to grow it? So I think it's a belongingness one should have. And the cultural belongingness is very, very important today. Never been as important as it is today, because we are getting carried away in our mobile phones all the time. Chess is probably one of the biggest games that you should adapt. Maybe in most international schools, chess is made compulsory. Because what happens is, this is what business models will evolve. If I want to go to Bangalore, I will go towards Omulur. So the direction is very important. In Omulur, there may be a traffic jam or there may be a road diversion, which I don't know. Maybe Google will help me out, but then I may not be able to predict that minute. But I know I should go towards Omulur. I think the movement of the direction of what you're going to be looking forward is what your mindset has to inform you. So I just took that out of chess, but then it's a very, very important game. I think we should probably, make it a more, maybe create a small internal championship or something like that as well. 85% of a sales in a supermarket is not planned. So 85% of business is done then and there. So this is where the sales and marketing comes into effect. 85% of a forum mall in Bangalore probably could be in, I don't know, maybe 5 crores or 3 crores in a day, I don't know. So much is not planned. The marketing and sales is a very, very, very vibrant continuous like a lotus flower. There's a lot of money in it, but the lotus flower will never stay still. So money always floats. So Goddess Lakshmi is on lotus, it always floats. So once it starts floating, it is like the market. People will keep on evolving. So it's very important for you to understand what the customer will want. How do you market this? Who's your TG, target group? So it's all mindset engineering. You need to pre-plan. You need to analyze first, assess first, analyze next, then you plan. There are 3 things in a mindset which one must understand. If you look at the mind, what all does it happen? When your mind gets affected, you have emotional toxic. So, negativity is one of the best ways today to, you just shut it off. You have to get in that, inculcate a way to find a way to stop the things to come into your mind. This is where the mindset engineering starts and finishes. Very, very simple. Mental health is going to be another very, very big space. Not next 10 to 15 years, next 50 years it is going to be a thing. More and more digital happens, more and more mental stress happens. So indirectly, it is 2 sides of the coin, but then there's more business for people in the mindset engineering, yoga, healthcare, all these things will boom. Not in 10%, 20%, it will boom more than 200% a year on year going forward. Because there's going to be issues which is not been expected to see. I mean, I wish I had done another survey, but then let's just do a show of hands. You should have fun. There is a time to have fun. There is a time to, enjoy yourself, maybe friends, family, and maybe you want hobbies and things like that. But then, very, very important, please understand negative thoughts, specifically the serials that you watch in the evening. I think Chairman keeps mentioning in almost all the programs. What do you get out of that? So 24 hours is there for a person. For me, I wish if there was 26 hours, because I don't have time. When you become big people tomorrow, that would be the most challenging. It's like a mineral water. It's like minerals. You can give money tomorrow. Talk to Bill Gates, talk to Nandan Nilekani, talk to anybody. What don't you have? I don't have time. That is where the business of tomorrow needs to be there. So time management is going to be, if I spend 3 hours on the mobile phone, of course, I spend maybe 2.5 hours on understanding what the world is doing. It's more information, more LinkedIns, and more on the understanding and YouTube videos and things like that. Because today's program, what I've done is not only for you, but I've started looking at these things to become a kind of a realistic, regular platform which can happen. And it's very important that I make sense to you. It's very important I make a difference to you. So remember that 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs we started off with? So that's called a trigger. So I like to be a trigger. If I'm able to, out of 180 of you, if I'm able to trigger 30 of you or 20 of you or even 10 of you, I'll be the most happiest person. Because my job would have been done, because I've come and spent, 3, 4, 5 hours with you. So if I don't make a difference to you, you're just going to listen to me, go back, no point. I've not created value. So I think the trigger that what you should create is again, mindset. So how you create the trigger is again marketing strategy. So you should understand TG, target group. If you're selling to a small kid who's 3 years or 5 years, you have to become a kid. You would have seen the toy shop marketing person is completely different. You will have to talk to the kid. You'll have to be like a kid. You should become like a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old. Act like a fool, act like a buffoon. That's called marketing. That's called sales. You sell. You do strategy is to market, but you're actually doing sales. Most of the times, the customer that you sell to is sitting next to you, not opposite you. Understand that first. The biggest thing about marketing and sales, you never talk to a customer against you. So understand, this is a very important thing. When you get into sales and marketing, the customer is next to you. Keep him next to you. Don't make him an enemy, because he's going to be the guy who's going to give you the money and get you the turnovers. So keep him next to you. Secondly, second important aspect here, again I'm going away from the topic, but I'll come back to the topic. It's very important that everybody makes money. So if you don't make profits, you will not be succeeding. Society growth. You are not growing for yourself. You have to make other people also grow. So only if that fellow grows, tomorrow you have the 80-20 principle. 80% of the business will be 20% of the companies you work with. This is the general rule, that 80-20 principle. I think we are taking that also in our subjects. So the 80-20 principle will work very well when you understand that other fellows should grow. So give back to society, make them grow as well. So going back to mental health, which I started from. So the only way that one could really sustain the pressures of the world is to look at, one is to shut information which is unnecessary. Shut any information. It could be visible, it could be noise, it could be music, it could be video, it could be TV, it could be anything. It could be action. So I think first and foremost, that is what you have to shut. So I will only look at this. I think yoga teaches you how to, have an exit of hypertension and pressure and things like that. Can you tell me who you are? Who you are is the brain that you are. It's not the hand, leg or stomach or heart or something. Who am I? My brain. So you are talking, your brain lives the outside. But we don't give the brain as much as importance till now because we thought heart was more important. So the only thing which the brain doesn't control is the heart. The heart works automatically. Of course, there is connections if you go deeper in, but on a simple matter, the brain tells you to stand up, brain tells you to walk, tells you to eat. So you won't believe this. There have been people, I think I've told principal this, there have been people who have not eaten for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's all mindset. No one has told you, you have to have tiffin at this time, lunch at this time, dinner at this time. It's your mind which tells you that you have to eat. So I think one of the studies which I think our team has done is obesity. So people are becoming more and more, I don't know how many percentages, quite a high percentages, people with, things. So I think what you eat also matters to your head. So your brain should tell you don't eat so much. Brain should tell you if you feel hungry, you eat and eat less. So the connectivity between your brain and who you are and what you eat is very, very, very important. And keep cleaning your brain. That's why I said fitness. Transferring chemical signals, which the head automatically transfers. So how does practice make a man perfect? It is the structure of your talking internally. So it's very, very important that your emotional and health toxicity is under control. And of course, if you go into it in very deeper way, there's lots that you can have. But I'm coming back out of this. I hope you've understood the importance of mental health and how to keep it fresh and how to keep it active and agile. And please do not at least sleep. Please sleep at least for 5 to 6 hours a day. That's another problem that we found. If you don't have sleep is the only time your brain gets some rest. It doesn't stop working. It works continuously, like the brain and the heart works continuously. So I think it's very, very important that you have your time and keep that as a thing. So now, a couple of the things that I would like you to understand, coming back into what is going to be very important for you in the next 2 years, is, I think I spoke about ROTE, R-O-T-E, return on time and effort. Return on time and effort. So how much time you're spending, how much effort you're spending, how much returns are you getting. So I think it's very, very important that you look at income per square feet, income for sacrifice, income for time. So these are the things that you'll have to start creating benchmarks. You need to understand that money and time gives opportunity, and increase in salaries gives you more opportunities for you to automate and robots. So this is where India will not give jobs much, because the world economy is not doing well. World economy is not at all doing well, and I think recession is setting in. Indian economy is doing one of the best in the world today, and it's alarming to see that some of the industries are growing even at 20%, 25%, and I think the future is good for India, but at the same time challenging for India. You should have the qualities where you start understanding the non-value added areas. I think NVA is another important aspect I keep speaking about. I think the non-value added areas is the time that you time that you spend on a certain process. Efficiency. So if someone can do it in half an hour and you are taking 3 hours, so no one is going to pay you for 3 hours. Because you spend 3 hours, you don't expect it to be paid 3 hours. You have to, if the 30 is a platform, why don't you try and look at yourself to come to 30%? So yesterday we launched a company called Map My Sona and Track My Sona. Basically, this is what will happen for the future. Because pinpoint problem accuracy identification is what happens. HR is going to be evolving. It's not going to be the same old HR. HR is going to be evolving. It's human management. How you talk to a person, how you work on the people-to-people relationship. So this is where the HR skills will have to come in. Coming back to TOC, total cost of ownership. So total cost of ownership, I just mentioned a couple of examples. So please understand that the total cost of ownership has to keep coming down because India is a very costly country. India is a very costly country, especially for services. We are abnormally going up, and this is an alarming area because if you don't use technology, if you stop using paper and stop using paper, pencil and phone, of course, get into digital area, the cost will come down naturally. I think what comes easy won't last. What lasts long won't come easy. So you've heard the saying when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. That is exactly what happened to Sona and Indians during the Corona war. Corona war, literally, I would put it that way. The tough gets going because we all proved what we are capable of. All our teachers contributed, all our lab technicians contributed. We contributed hugely for the Salem community and with the collector and ministers and other things. I don't want to mention numbers, but then we contributed a lot of time, effort and money and people with food, almost for 60,000-70,000 people continuously for about a month and a half. Never take decisions just by seeing the top. Always penetrate down and be 100% holistic. So when I look at it, I have a lot of things because he's one of my closest mentors. So anytime you have a problem, you actually have the 4W2H. What, when, where, why, and how much. So if you don't know these 4 or 5, I cannot take a decision. So the basic things I'll repeat: what is the product, where is it, who is it, when is it, how much is it, and how do I use it. These are basic principles of taking a decision that when you want to buy something or invest in something or something like this, you can take it rest assured. Anything, anywhere you put this application, and then sometimes this is how you take decisions. You put your forefathers, if you have your grandfather who's advised you or someone who's mentored you, put this question and say, this is the answer I get, and you put him and ask him what he will do, and they will guide you. Because what I do in a Bangalore, I can't do in a Salem. What I do in a Salem, I cannot do in a Pudukkottai. So it's different. The culture matters. Especially when you're in education, the culture matters a lot because the society matters a lot. So the problem solving is very, very important. Problem mein varadnu solagudadu. Problem varum. You are going, that's how we are there, no? We are all coming from an MBA school which will teach you how to solve problems, which will make you solve the problems. First is understand the problem. It's 50% of your job is done when you understand the problem. Then categorize the problem. We have a trickle-down method which you say, first problem first, then next, then next. Break it down into smaller portions. Handle this in a very, very mature, analytical way. This is where analytics will work. There's a big difference between knowledge and understanding. So knowledge is just one bit of it, but understanding connects the knowledge together. So this is where the education of tomorrow should happen, and this is where we should understand. I think this is important for our teachers also, connecting knowledge and making them understand. Because if you understand something, I have not even looked at anything because I know what I'm going to talk to you. I know where I'm going. So I just an example of how you can understand is to frame up your, points in such a way that where you want to go, direction. So you can always say, I'm in the shore, I'm happy. But it's not made for the shore. It's made to go to the sea. It's made to go from Africa to America to Australia to wherever. So this is what you are already fit for. So a lot of things that you would do, and I'm just using an example, how you think that you cannot do. In my first rally, I think that was in 2097, 96, 97, second rally, that was in popular Munnar. So I was a newcomer, I was just about 20, 21, 22 those days. So, 19 those days. And they said, oh, okay, you are newcomers, you come last. So Munnar, at 5:30 it becomes dark. It's a hill station, it's much more steeper than Erkard. So the first car started at some 4:45 or 5 o'clock. So the last car, I was second last or the third last car. So I think we flagged off at about 5:55 or 5:57 or something. I still remember the time. And it was pitch dark. So I didn't know anything. I was driving my gypsy. My navigator was a very senior navigator. And we did an amazing time. Amazing time is not the word. We did the third fastest in the whole list of participants, 44 cars. I was the third fastest. So, and I was almost as fast as the cars. I was driving a gypsy. And everyone in the night, how did you do it? What happened? I said, I don't know, nothing. I just drove. So then I had very good, very good, very good. The next day, I had to start the third because the first car goes first, second, third. So I started third. And suddenly I had people following me. The next car caught up with me because, of course, they were all seasoned drivers racing for 10, 15 years. So they caught up with me because 2 minutes gap. So then I realized in the night, I didn't know Munnar. Munnar had a drop of 300 feet, 500 feet, 1,000 feet. I didn't know anything. So my eye could only see where the lights were. So I didn't even think there was a slope. I never thought that there was a slope of 500 feet or 1,000 feet. In the morning, when you're driving, you start off at 10 o'clock. So it's bright. So every time you brake, the car will shift and you'll see the drop there. Let's say, forget it, I'll just finish the race. So now, this is what your mindset tells you. When you don't know anything and you're doing it, I was the third fastest, but on the way back, I was probably the 15th or 20th, I don't remember. But the same track coming back, I was so slow. So it's very important that you come out of your comfort feeling. So what I should have done is shut it off. Shut that there was a drop. Don't even think that there was a drop of 500 or 1,000 feet. Just concentrate and drive. I would have still been, if not the third fastest, fifth fastest. So I think these are experiences where your hobbies help you. So when I spoke to you earlier about hobbies, how important it is. And this is how it helps you somewhere or the other. Maybe in another 20, 30 years, it could probably help you somewhere. So I think this matters. Yeah, next. Yeah, so again, remember I told you about the ego. I think the most important aspect one should understand is you're competing with yourself. You're not competing with anybody else in the world. Not your brother, not your sister, not your father, not your mother, not your friend, not your whatever. So once you have that competition with myself, so then you kind of wonder, can I do this only? Or can I compete, can I do better? I don't add pressure. I had self-pressure. So in that case, I know my potential. So first, we should do a mapping of people mapping. So, what is your potential and how you can, compete with yourself. So don't keep judging others. You're not going to get anything by judging, what is going to happen? Let him go, let whoever wants, let them do. You do what you feel is right. You do what you think is right. You have your principles in life. You have your systems in place. This is where an organized person should happen. And believe me, when I was 20, 21, 22, I also would have been thinking the same way, but I'm talking to you after many years after that. So it's experience which I have done, not only in the industry, but in multiple levels. So these are some things that you judge yourself first. Put yourself, analyze yourself, keep looking at yourself, keep small targets to yourself, and improve yourself first. That's what I would, very clearly give you this, direction of look at yourself more importantly than others. Yeah. So we keep saying one day you'll go away. I'll go away, everyone will go away. But then do you want that day to be like this, or you want to say one day I will make it big? So see the graph which goes up, and that day will come when you start looking at, divide it, okay, this month, next year, and look at it next one day, I will make it to 10 crores turnover. One day I'll make it to 100 crores turnover. So that is what matters. So why do you start having exams and tests and things like that? Because once you have a deadline, your mindset becomes more focused. Focus is the most important area I think we as teachers need to understand, because it's very easy to get carried away. So, and today with your mobile in your hand, it's very, very easy. So I think the mindset needs to focus, and the focus needs to be, periodically assessed. This is one of the important things. Next slide. Yeah, so this explains to itself. Not a dreamer, I wouldn't agree. Dream, but dream big. But make it happen. So I think walking management or walking professionals or walking entrepreneurs should be the way forward. Next slide. So I think unnecessarily we shouldn't raise our voice. It's important that we have our voice raised when it needs to be. It's important that as managers tomorrow, when you go and join companies, you should have a kind of not even argument, I wouldn't agree with that. I think debate. Understand different perceptions, different people's way of life. I think he mentioned his father. Someone would have some other issues with mother or grandfather. There's different perceptions. Give value to each one's thinking, because they are not a generation which are born after the 2000s. They are born in 80s or 70s or 60s. So it is a product life cycle management where light will not shine the same after maybe 5 years. It will reduce, and it will go away. So you have to give respect to different people's perceptions, and it's important. Next. Yeah. So I think I leave these slides for you. You can use all these slides, and facing them, make it an art of solving problems, and don't make a problem look big. And if you keep on saying problem, yes. But if you say it's a challenge, I will face it. And Sona Star Innovation is basically to solve problems. So when it's like a doctor saying, I don't want any patient because they come with problem. So now what will happen to the doctor? So more problems you solve, more you have to think that way. If you don't think that problem arunda anga povana, it's your life. You can say that and go back home, eat and sleep. But do you want to do that? Do you want to solve problems and become an international person where you can understand and convey, convince and convert into big businesses? Next. So some of us only listen just to reply. We don't listen to understand. I think that that kind of a adhiya prasingathanam solruvangala, that should be something which you need to not have in your system. Because unnecessarily speaking, just for sake of speaking in front of other people, that doesn't get you anywhere. It may be getting you some branding and other things, but how long will you last with that branding? So it's very important that you understand and then come out with the thing where you really feel that it's a question or it's a, connect to the topic. Yeah. So fear, I don't want to go into this. We spoke about fear and how the ship example and things like that. It's the same thing in this as well. Yeah. Next. Yeah. So intensity versus consistency. So these are all things that you will realize as you grow older, because we generally start very fast and then it tapers on. Consistently keeping your growth up. Yeah. Next slide. This is very, 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 very important. This is actually a double meaning graph. One is linked to your heartbeat and your pulse beat, the lower one. The other one is linked to actual graph. Tough times don't last all the time. But then tough people do last. So tougher you are, more, because life will go on. So this is where I think you need to, look at it into a, Tamil sonna, idum center bomb, idum kanna bomb. So similar thing will happen. So who hasn't had a tough time? Everybody has had tough times. So your father, grandfather would have had much more tough time than you because there was no mobile phone. Today mobile phone has come. If you don't do anything, immediately they'll call you and say, oh, I sent you a message, I sent you a call, something or the other. And I do that with our MBS sometimes very early in the morning. But then that's the way technology is today. So I think tough times are there. Yeah. So I think this is important that you have, different, time frames, not only for salary and job, but you have physical health, like what you do, and then free time. Free the time is most important because that's the time that you get good, positive feeling inward and outward. Then, of course, salary is important. Job title is important because today's world, job title is one of the important things that one would respect you for, and I think it's something that we all work for. Yeah, next. Yeah, so I think the comfort zone, I don't want to go into it. I've explained a lot. So this you can put where you are and, kind of analyze yourself. Next. So the top 20 reasons, coming back to startups, some of us do a lot of startups. Anyone interested in starting their own job? Own companies? 2, 3. Only that row? Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. So would love to see you come back with an idea. I think all 6, 7 of you or others also, please come back with an idea because we are one of the colleges which are promoting startups in a big way. As I already told you that Sona has got incubator space just this side. So if you want to start a company when you're studying at Sona, it's possible. You can start, we are looking at basic, starting from app development companies, going down to research, companies, as well as I already mentioned to you, one of the startups we are focusing is on the healthcare industries. So we'll be one of the first, if it's accepted by the government, to have an incubator space only for natural healthcare. So natural healthcare, remember I told you the doubling and tripling of years in terms of the medical and healthcare growing forward. So this is going to be one of the areas that the startup industries can also support. And right now, there are not many companies in that space. So there's huge opportunities. There are companies, but then there are probably companies who are in family businesses and things like that, not able to take it to a certain level. There's a lot of opportunities. Next slide. Yeah, so it's very easy getting carried away. I think the things that you do, the power of stepping away. Just to mention to you here, I'd like to put it on, underline the fact that I know a lot of people. I was in Christ College. Christ is one of the best colleges in the country today, universities. But the importance of those days, when before I joined, there used to be a lot of issues in the college. There used to be a lot of drugs in the college. And I was one of the few people who never smoked in my life. So it's very important that you have your mindset right and say, I will not do this, I will not do that. I even if I'm indulging in something else, I don't mind it as a fun thing, but I'm not making it a success on a regular basis or a process rather. So it's very important that you stop where you have to stop. VUCA world, I think anyone has heard of VUCA world? I think teachers would have heard. Okay, VUCA world is VUCA. It is actually known as volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But then it's changing to vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. This is the principles of what I spoke to you today about. Understanding, vision, clarity, and then agility. You have to move. So if only hard work, good work is always supported by footwork and hard work. And it's important that you understand that the VUCA world is changing. Of course, this will still continue because it's going to continue even further with all the slowdown in the economy and the petroleum crisis and all those things. But then this is important for an MBA student today to understand. I think we always try and make the best of what you have and don't crib about it. If you have one pencil which breaks, make it 3 pencils. So becomes very easy. It's a very simple way of understanding. So 1 becomes 3, so you have 3 pencils. So if you're writing an exam, I mean, I'm not saying you don't use pens, and I mean, you don't use pencils, but for a small child, she's writing an exam, 1 pencil goes, you turn it around and use another pencil goes, you have another one. So the opportunity is the best. Don't crib about things, make the best of what you have. So in one shot, everything is a winner. So the new world, that's where the new world is. It's a live video which has been played. In one shot, all the balls are inside. The other guy does not know what to do. So we are trying to make you winner. Please support us and support the teachers and the professors to make you a brilliant student coming out of college, Sona College of Technology. Thank you so much. Thank you.